Welcome back, everyone. Wednesdays on RFL, it means Law Talk, and we supply the high-priced attorneys, and you get the free wisdom. Now, back this week here, Doug Von Oys, founding partner of Karsten Von Oys, focuses on corporate misconduct. Jim Kasouris, you met earlier in the hour, a criminal defense attorney in Manhattan, lectures at New York Law School, and a visiting professor at the University of Birmingham in England. Look at you. And Mayo Bartlett's here as well, an attorney, former chief of the Bias Crimes Unit in Westchester County's DA's office, and trust me, you'll be seeing and hearing from him in some high-profile cases in the coming months and year. All right, case number one here. Obviously, guys, the Metro North accident killed 4 people, injured 67 others. The NTSB says the train was going 82 miles an hour in what should be a 30-mile-per-hour zone. One passenger already has filed a notice of claim against the commuter railroad. Now, the question is for me, where does liability start and stop? What should our expectation Mayo be in terms of when we buy a ticket? You know, when I buy a ticket to go to a ball game and a foul ball hits me, right? They tell me on the ticket that it comes to the territory. What should my expectation be when I get on Metro North when I'm trying to go to Grand Central?
Well, when you buy your ticket, it tells you also, that you're going to give up certain rights and that you understand that it's not perfect, that you can get hurt. However, there's an expectation that they're going to do everything they can to keep you safe. So that means that they're going to have proper training of their employees, but it also means in this day of technology that they're going to invest in technology to make the track safer, to make the cars safer, fail-safes to make sure that if, heaven forbid, something happens to the conductor, there's a mechanism that will allow the train to slow down. You're even seeing that technology in automobiles today, where the car will brake itself if you're not doing the job.
Jim, if the guy falls asleep, or this trance defense, or whatever he's throwing up, this hypnotic defense, I'm sorry. You guys try and keep a straight face on that one. The difference between him being drunk and him falling asleep, what is the distinction?
Well, I mean, certainly an experienced driver or even inexperienced driver based on his training knows that he cannot become intoxicated in any way, shape, or form while he's operating the train. Whereas falling asleep, is is a more human failing to which we would attach.
Does it change liability?
Well, we were talking about it before. It may fall within the purview of negligence, yep, as opposed to recklessness. I mean, he knows that he's got to stay away. This is more criminal rather than civil, right? If you look at that, I mean, clearly there's a civil situation here. Yep. The other thing that Mayo was talking about in the same vein is you expect that they're going to schedule their drivers in terms of work hours the way airlines do. You can only fly for a certain period of time, and so on and so forth. But, it's a difference between a human failing, like falling asleep, and intoxicating yourself.
And Doug, we saw the first case today. But as I mentioned off the top, there were 4 fatalities, 67 other people injured. When these things happen, help me out. Is it inevitable that there's going to be 70 separate lawsuits? Do people get together and do a class action suit? Historically, what gives these defendants, or these plaintiffs, I should say, excuse me, the best chance, whether it be for compensation, justice, however you want to term it?
Well, I don't think this event would fit into a class action lawsuit. Usually, there has to be similar damages or damages that you can actually put into a grid. Right. So, but there's a difference between that and putting these cases together in one action, and that would mean each case would be its own case, standalone, but you try them together because it's going to be similar witnesses. A judge, a jury could listen to the whole thing, and that may be an economical way for the court system to deal with it. I mean, but class action, I don't see.
No. All right, I'm going to make things tough here, and I'll give you the easy way out here. I'm going to ask you each to take a side here, and in a minute give the most compelling defense. Mr. Kasouris, you're defending Mr. Rockefeller, the driver here. Give a rational defense here why criminally and even civilly he should face the least amount of exposure as possible.
Well, from a criminal standpoint...
You drew the short straw.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I wanted to be on Mayo's team. From a criminal exposure, there's no crime, in my view, that fits within the conduct as we have it right now. There's no reckless conduct here. If anything, if he did fall asleep, if he did doze off for 3 or 4 seconds, that, as I said, is a human failing that's going to be expected of human beings. And in order to attach criminal liability to somebody's conduct, there has to be an elevated, what we call mens rea, an elevated state of mind that I don't see in this circumstance at all. I mean, assuming the toxicology comes back that he wasn't drinking, that he wasn't on drugs or anything like that.
Texting or whatever.
It wasn't texting, exactly.
You're good. You're good.
That.
I gave you a bad hand there. Mayo, this one almost is tough, and that is your Metro North. You've already been, one suit's already going after you. Why shouldn't your organization be responsible? You hired the guy, you created the environment where he could press the gas pedal and go up to 82 miles per hour. Why shouldn't you be responsible for all the actions of your employee?
Well, Metro North is going to fall back on its training, and it's going to go to its policies and protocols. And they're going to say, look, you know, we train all of our conductors to be very mindful of the curves, to be very mindful of the speeds, of the weather conditions even. So they go through extensive training before they get into that locomotive. And we've done everything we can reasonably do. We're not going to substitute human beings for machines. So if he fell asleep, that's not our fault. We train our conductors to be wide awake, and if something is going on with them that makes them physically incapable, they're supposed to notify us. So
well done. Good try, but well done. Now, Doug, you get the softball.
Rich.
You're the plaintiff's attorney. You've heard the two counselors here. Why is both the driver and his employer here at the end of the day responsible for the tragedy?
Well, first, this event doesn't occur without negligence. Whether there's so much recklessness that it rises to a criminal case, that's a different story, and they're going to look at the toxicology report. You'll find out if this guy had episodes of falling asleep, and that's all relevant when you're looking at that charge. But negligence, as far as, you know, a civil lawsuit goes, listen, you can train people all day long, but at the end of the day, you have a guy waking up and he's the sole driver of this huge thing. Right? I'm surprised this doesn't happen all the time. There's no redundancies in the system. There's not an alarm that goes off when you're going down the tracks at 60 miles an hour to wake up people or alert them. I mean, I have a feeling you're going to see multiple forms of negligence when they dig into this case.
I see nodding on the other side of the table here, yes.
Mayo, you should say.
Well, one thing we didn't talk about the possibility of a product liability, though, because if there's something inherently wrong with the train or the tracks, maybe there's not negligence. We do have a statement from the conductor, but we don't know that the train itself was working properly.
God bless you, Mayor. You're trying. All right, we're going to see how this thing plays out, but you're right. A lot of facts still that will come up as this investigation continues. Okay, we come back here. This is one of these cases where technology has outpaced the law. Drones. What are your rights, our rights here? Because trust me, it's an inevitability no matter what anybody tells you. We'll be back with that after this.